everybody knows how deep we are at 140, but it's okay being deep, but you need the champions, you need the big names as well. So obviously we worked with Devin Haney and we're involved with the Garcia fight. Now we have another champion at 140. So all of those guys that are coming through, Richardson Hitchins, he's in a final eliminator for Subriel Matias. Liam Paro, he could be a potential opponent for Subriel Matias in May. You've got Dalton Smith fighting Zepeda. He's going to be right up there with the WBC. You know, you've got other 140 fighters as well that are knocking on the door. So for me, it's great having the contenders, but now we've got the champions as well. And I hope that with all the promoters apparently coming together at the moment, we have got the champion that will give you a fight of the year every time. So as I said about Teofimo, if Top Rank want to come out to play with Subriel Matias, yes please. You know, if Rowley beats Isaac Cruz, oh yes please. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia winner, yes please. I'll put this kid in with anyone, he's special.
Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWork Boxing. I'm not gonna play no games. I'm gonna get right down to business. Eddie, I salute. You know, I give Eddie a hard time, but I gotta imagine that Eddie Hearn is playing chess. If you hear that clip, he tells you everything that you need to know, and it also solidifies and answers a lot of questions on the recent signing of one Subriel Matias, El Orgullo de Maternilo, the pride of motherhood, the rising Puerto Rican champion at the 140-pound division, who is becoming must-see TV. I've been connecting some dots, and I've been watching some things, and I'm like, Eddie, I see you, Eddie. You're doing some things. You done learned. You done came up. What are you talking about, Mike? All right, break it down. Eddie basically just got some replacements. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep it real short and sweet. Eddie just went in and got the replacement. Now, why do you say that? Let's look at Montana Love. Montana Love, he came in. He actually got a win over Ivan Baranchek in a great crowd-pleasing performance. He was moving his way up. He was supposed to be the next young thing from Ohio. You know what I'm saying? But he had the pretty boy style. You know what I'm saying? His name is Montana Love, coming out manicured and Beijinged up with a, poodle or whatever kind of dog that was. You know what I'm saying? Just coming up, and Eddie was like, okay, this guy, and everybody knows that he has some kind of power. You know what I'm saying? We know that he is slightly athletic, but he bust on the scene, and he just had the kind of personality, I guess, that people want to see. He's an entertainer. He said some things. I mean, I guess he has the image, the look that everybody liked. But it was a young boy from New York, Africa, Richardson Hitchins, who also was making his bones over there at TMT, shared the ring with opponents as the one Subriel Matias and Malik Hawkins. He had Argenis Mendez. He put in that road work over there on TMT. And everybody always say, oh man, it's because of Floyd that Tank blew up. It's like, well, why didn't Africa blow up? Was it because of talent or lack thereof? Absolutely not. Because when it come down to boxing skills, his name is in a hat that has the skill set and the characteristics to actually hang in and compete with the likes of a Devin Haney or the likes of a Subriel Matias or the likes of a Gary Antoine Russell. You know what I'm saying? All those guys, Boots, all those guys, they grew up in the amateurs, you know what I'm saying? So a highly accredited name. he had his eyes set on a Montana Love. But what happened? Montana Love has a fight with Richardson Hitchins, scheduled, and it's on deck. He pulls out because of injury. And Richardson Hitchins' stance was like, okay, cool, I understand things happen, we get hurt. Just let me know in enough time because I still want to be able to get a fight in. He don't let him know. The way Richardson Hitchins find out is that an announcement is made and Liam Paro upsets the apple cart. He had the fight before that, he had the issue where he actually threw Buddy outside the ring. But Liam Paro comes in, stops the man in devastating fashion. Mess up everything. And that's who Richardson Hitchins was looking at, trying to, because he was a name, somebody that everybody was liking, and he had his eyes. If you look back at that press conference when Richardson Hitchins had his target in Zepeda and he had his target, you know what I'm saying, and they did that thing. That was supposed to be the next plan. That was supposed to be the next big thing. Montana Love upset the apple cart. Now, Eddie saw talent in Montana Love, and yes, Montana Love has talent. But then we also come around to the undisputed champion at 135 who moved up and took a WBC strap from one Regis Rougarou Pereira. Put on that devastating, excellent clinic. You know what I'm saying? One of the best performances to date. I never expected Regis to perform like that. Set a record. Least amount of punches landed in a fight. Coming off of the Shakur Stevenson in the De Los Santos fight, where De Los Santos has set a record. Coming after Zorilla and Regis Prograis, which set a total punches landed minimum or record for least amount between two fighters in modern day. All these anomalies. We have Devin Haney coming up in the division, moving up, grabbing the strap at 140, and not even 24 hours later, Bill Haney comes out and says that he wants Subriel Matias. Oh yeah, we called this man. All along, long story short, they called the wrong people. They made up a fabricated lie, blowing up the asking price for one Subriel Matias. Then they said, oh well, we want to get back. Well, long story short, they missed the meeting. They made themselves available to them. They missed the meeting. Subriel had a lot of offers on the table. Stay with PBC, move up and fight Boots, get somebody like Monster Stanionis. Two of the bigger names, Boots actually having an IBF belt, doesn't blow up in weight, goes by the same standard. Eventually, those guys are going to have to dance anyway. That was an option. For some reason, he didn't choose the PBC. And he bet on himself. He goes over there to Eddie with 5 names, to include a Richardson Hitchins, possibly a Liam Paro, a Regis Prograis. We never heard about a Devin Haney. And I gotta think that as a promoter, maybe Eddie was saying, hey, look, I can't really rely on this guy, Devin. I mean, his father goes around, he gets all the credit for being a prime lead promoter, which part of it is being a father and promoting his child, yes. But as far as promotional wise, a lot of people don't say, oh, Eddie Hearn, or regard him as the promoter. They give all the credit to Bill. Well, guess what Eddie's looking at? Eddie's sitting back looking like, hold on, most of these fights are not going to happen unless me and my connections, where I stand and where I represent, is actually cutting a check. Unless in a Ryan Garcia type situation, or if Devin would ever go over to the PBC, the other promotional company would be footing the bill. And if that doesn't happen, they have no fight yet. They get all the credit for promoting these fights, and we can't trust them. Why? Because Sandor Martin recently signed with Top Rank, which means that as the mandatory, it's a 10-month window. Devin is still inside his 10-month window, to where Devin Haney is going to have to fight Sandor Martin, of which Eddie would say would he have. That's a mandatory. Either they have to come to agreement, go to a person, but who knows what happened in that fight. And then also, based on these comments, he knows that if he has somebody like Subriel Matias, a real closer, a must-see TV, somebody that motto is either I'm going to knock your black off or you got to knock mine off. Either way, I'm going to take your cornbread or you going to take mine. Either way, it's going down. We're not leaving it in the judge's hands. He makes people retire on the stool. 5 of them. Even expired somebody. ROP. Long story short, Eddie Hearn has found his replacements. Think about it. So now I'm less critical of Africa, even though it was a maneuver to get out of line. We seen that Africa, which is Richardson-Hitchins, and Jack Catterall got out of the line to actually fight a title eliminator to get to Subriel Matias. Only Richardson-Hitchins decided that he's going to go fight Gustavo Lemons, and Jack Catterall is going to handle his unfinished business because he did get pickpocketed in that fight with Josh Taylor. But when I look at it, all along Richardson-Hitchins was looking at Montana Love. And yeah, he knows that Subriel Matias was a bad man, but he had his eyes looking this way because in this day and era, if somebody's behind you, like if you're reaching up for a star, you're reaching up for a champion, then somebody else is reaching up for a contender. Somebody else is reaching up for a prospect. The prospect reaching up for a contender, the contender reaching up for a champion. The champion is just reaching out for the bag and the biggest, you know what I'm saying, risk or opportunity he can take. In most cases, back in the day, when we're talking about a throwback. In today's day and time, I'm not sure. However, I can deduct, knowing that Montana Love is pretty much out the door. He dodged that Richardson-Hitchins smoke. Richardson-Hitchins is the type of boxer that can give either Devin Haney, who has a belt, Teofimo Lopez, who has a belt, Subriel Matias, who has a belt. He can definitely put up a fight. He's been in there with the best of them. He's been developed by TMT. He's ready to rock and roll. You know, so I don't look at him the same anymore. I say, okay, well, if it wasn't in your plans to see Subriel, you had your own career plans, and you know that you're going to meet up, because that was one of the names that was mentioned on this 5-fight deal. The only name we didn't see is Devin Haney, and I can rest assured that Eddie Hearn now knows that he has a contender, because he said, look, we got all the contenders, and now we have a champion that everybody wants to see, a champion who we knows that's going to actually excite the fans, excite the crowds, get eyeballs on screens, and put butts in seats with one Subriel Matias. There you have it. Those are the replacements. I love to get your thoughts. Love to get your comments. Am I on to something? Am I far off? Somebody let me know. And remember, this is fact-based content. This is the alternative to opinion-based content. But thanks for tuning in here with Bodywork Boxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.